Alrighty, I'm back again.
Guess who's back again?
I think that's how that goes. Here in my fun pants. I'm a little bit more natural today. Some days you just need your concealer, mascara, and call it a day, honestly. We are gonna be talking about sunscreen. Why it's so important, why you need it every day, multiple times a day, regardless of whether you get up and it's cloudy. The sun is so powerful and its rays are just gonna come like straight through and they're gonna damage your skin. Sunscreen is so vital to everyone's skincare routine. No matter if you're super dry, super oily, super pale, super deep skin tone, like everyone needs to have sunscreen in your routine. You could be doing all the skincare in the world, but if you're not wearing sunscreen, none of it matters. Learning about skincare, researching it, teaching about it, trying out skincare is one of my absolute favorite things. I actually work in skincare at work. I do a lot of research on sunscreen. There's a lot of sort of science behind it. There's a lot of different chemicals and some of it can actually be really confusing. I'm not an esthetician, I'm not a dermatologist. So obviously refer to a professional's judgment, of course. So I am gonna be giving you guys all the info I can about sunscreen because I wanna talk about a lot of stuff, but I'm also gonna be giving you guys 6 recommendations of sunscreens that I like, and then I wanna kind of talk about the ingredients. We're gonna go ahead and get right into it. Let's go. In preparation for this video, I was doing just extra research and I created a whole document just so I could be able to explain it in the best way possible. And I went on the Skin Cancer Foundation website. I might butcher how to pronounce some of this, but they said regular daily use of sunscreen can reduce your risk of developing squamous cell carcinoma, SCC, which is skin cancer, by 40%, lower your melanoma risk by 50%, and we already knew this, but it's gonna help prevent your premature skin aging. That's gonna be things like sunspots, wrinkles, sagging, basically you looking like a leather bag in 20 years. First of all, skin cancer, actually a super serious thing. You definitely don't want that. And I know you guys don't want wrinkles, sagging, and dark spots. The amount of people I get coming into stores being like, I need something for my sunspots, trying to repair all this damage that could have been so easily avoided. And all of these people are talking to me, they're like, God, I wish I would have just worn sunscreen when I was younger. There are a lot of people who are just like, I want a 2-in-1 moisturizer with a little bit of SPF in there. You should do your moisturizer and your sunscreen separate. Reason being is you need to apply a lot of sunscreen in order for it to actually be effective. The minimum, if you were staying inside all day, would be maybe SPF 15. I would say minimum, especially if you're gonna be going indoors and outdoors, would be SPF 30, but 15 is really common in a lot of moisturizers. You're not actually applying SPF 15. You're not getting enough product on your hand and on your face. You're probably applying SPF 5 to your skin, which is essentially nothing. So if you use a more concentrated sunscreen and then you use your moisturizer on its own, you're for sure going to be getting enough SPF. Next thing I want to talk about is there are different kinds of rays that we get sun damage from. For a very long time, people were only talking about UVB rays. So UVB rays are what give us sunburns. We hate UVB, but a lot of people were not focused on what's called UVA rays. So those are the rays that give us those sunspots, skin damage, stuff like that. You really want to make sure that when you're picking out your sunscreens, you're getting something that is going to protect from UVB, which is sunburning, and then UVA, which is skin damaging. Really commonly on packaging, it's gonna say UVB and UVA protectant, or it's gonna say broad spectrum, which means it's gonna be UVA protectant, or it's gonna say PA+++, another way of saying broad spectrum. So look for stuff like that on your sunscreen packaging.
I'm being so scholarly today.
I just like am very passionate about this stuff, and I hope maybe you guys want to see more skincare. Next thing we're going to talk about is there are actually two types, not four, two. There are two types of sunscreens. We have what's called a chemical sunscreen, and then we have what's called a physical or a mineral sunscreen. The names are sort of interchangeable. I don't want to butcher all the names. I'll show you some of the examples. Chemical sunscreens work to absorb the UV rays, and they absorb them before they can damage your skin. And then physical sunscreens, or a mineral sunscreen, which I'll put up the two types. These work more as like a block or a shield to kind of scatter the rays before they can penetrate your skin. Thus, we have the two names where the chemical one literally chemically absorbs them, and then the physical sunscreen works as a physical shield to kind of block the rays away. I want to talk about the importance of finding a clean sunscreen within those two categories. This is where I have some issues with people. So it's a huge myth that people will be like, oh, but the chemicals on sunscreen are so bad for you that it's actually worse for your skin to wear sunscreen than to not wear sunscreen.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Anyone ever says that to you, tell them that they're
Uneducated and they don't know what they're talking about and they don't care about their skin. No.
I won't tolerate that.
very popular or like typical brands that we see every day in the store. Yes, those and many more sunscreen brands use a lot of chemicals that are very harmful to the skin. They're carcinogenic and they are not good for the skin at all. I'm gonna put a list of a lot of the very harmful chemicals. I'm gonna throw them up on the screen, leave them for a minute. These are what you're gonna want to avoid, what you're gonna wanna check your ingredient list for when you're looking to purchase a sunscreen, because yes, these are terrible for your skin. Also, don't listen to someone who's like, oh yeah, but let's just do like an all natural, like DIY sunscreen at home.
Seriously, what the f are you doing?
Let's not, because that's not gonna be effective. It's also a very common misconception that like physical or mineral sunscreens are totally natural and like chemical sunscreens are really bad. They're not bad. Physical or mineral do tend to use more like organic UV filters, but we can still find clean chemical sunscreens and clean mineral sunscreens. There's something we want to avoid, and it's only found in chemical sunscreens. So there's a chemical called oxybenzone, or like BP3. This chemical is detrimental to our oceans, our coral reefs, and other marine life. This is found in a lot of chemical sunscreens. I would not recommend that we use an SPF that has that in it, because we obviously want to be taking care of our earth. So when you are looking for a sunscreen, we want to make sure that it says reef safe on it. If you're going to use a mineral or a physical sunscreen, you don't ever have to worry about that because they don't have oxybenzone in there. One other thing, you cannot just put your sunscreen on at the beginning of the day and be like, okay, cool, this is gonna last all day. No.
No.
You need to apply your sunscreen, obviously at the beginning of the day, and then again every like 1.5 to 2 hours. I know that sounds so annoying. Don't freak out. I know that sounds so annoying. I have some solutions for you in my recommendations. You do need to reapply to make sure that you are protecting your skin and that it is being effective, because those chemicals are gonna kind of stop working. The last thing I want to talk about before I get into like my recommendations is blue light damage. Blue light, obviously, as we have learned, is not good for our eyes or our skin. The UV damage from blue light can penetrate our skin, and most sunscreens will actually not protect against this. One of my sunscreen recommendations will protect against blue light, and it's actually kind of difficult sometimes to find stuff that is clean and that's going to protect against blue light. But I do want you guys to know that even though you should be wearing your sunscreen when you're inside, it does not necessarily mean that you are being protected from blue light damage. Every single one of these sunscreens is gonna be UVB and UVA protectant. They're all reef safe. 2 are mineral and 3 are chemical. So I do have a couple different options. None of them have a weird white cast. None of them have any ingredients that I wouldn't put on my skin. All of these are also clean, vegan, cruelty-free, all that good stuff. I am not gonna say that for every single one, but I just want it to like go without saying. I'm gonna start with my favorite sunscreen. I found out about this brand from Skincare by Hiram. If you guys don't follow him, why? I absolutely love him. I'll link his channel. Like, he needs my shout out. Shut up, Ava. God, what's wrong with you? I learned so much from him and everyone should be following him. My number one favorite sunscreen is the Purito sunscreen. This is a Korean skincare brand. Absolutely love them. This is their Centella Green Level Safe Sun SPF 50 plus PA+++. You can get this one on like Amazon. This one is a mineral sunscreen. I love that it's SPF 50 because most mineral sunscreens only go up to like SPF 30. Also, another common myth is that like if you get like SPF 100, it's gonna be doing like so much more protecting than SPF 50. No, 50 is pretty much the highest you can go with SPF. So if anything is labeled as higher than that, it's fake news, and don't fall for it because they're lying to you. The Centella extract in here is really great. So it's good for calming inflammation. It's used in Asian culture to like speed wound healing and help with your circulation. It can also stimulate new cell growth and help build collagen. This also has hyaluronic acid. Ugh, amazing, so hydrating on the skin. It has niacinamide, which is one of my absolute favorite ingredients ever. It helps to get rid of any pigmentation. It helps to get rid of texture. And this sunscreen is also water-based. It doesn't feel sticky. It doesn't feel tacky. It's unfortunately very common in a lot of physical sunscreens to get like a white cast because of the chemicals they use. Zero white cast whatsoever. I'm actually gonna apply each of these on my hands so you guys can kind of see the texture and what I'm talking about. I do want to mention I'm not a big fragrance girl in my skincare. This one has a teeny bit of lavender essential oil all the way at the bottom of the ingredient list. Since it's all the way at the bottom, that doesn't really bother me. It basically means that there's none in there, so that's not a big deal. There is one where the green isn't filled in on the packaging, and that is the one without the lavender essential oil. On to the next. I'm just gonna do the other mineral sunscreen that I have. Okay, this is the Biossance Squalane and Zinc Mineral SPF. This one's SPF 30. I never know with Biossance whether to say squalene or squalene because they do use a plant-based version of squalane, so just bear with me. It has some water lily in there, which is gonna help to kind of soothe, calm, and hydrate your skin. And then obviously you have squalene in here. Squalene is such a wonderful ingredient. Their whole line is like a sugarcane derived squalene. Squalene works to lock in your moisture. It helps to soothe the skin. It helps to control your oil production. It's a great anti-aging agent. It improves like the elasticity in your skin. It is a little bit more white looking, but again, absolutely no white cast gets left on my skin. If you guys know who Nima Tang is, she has a lot of melanin in her skin and she uses this sunscreen sometimes. Leaves like no white cast. So this one is the most recent addition to my sunscreen collection and I like it a lot. Not as much as this one, but I do like it a lot, and you can get this one at Sephora. I was talking a lot about clean sunscreen. If you are interested in learning more about that and like the long list of chemicals that you have to formulate without in order to be considered clean, on like the Sephora website there's a whole little page on what it means to be like clean at Sephora. It'll explain a little bit more about that, so that's a really great outlet. So I do have like a drugstore recommendation for you guys that is a little bit more obviously affordable. I have not used this myself, but I did learn about this from Hiram, and from what I've looked at ingredient wise and reviews wise, it looks phenomenal. I'll throw it up on the screen. It's the CeraVe Mineral Sunscreen. That's a great one to start out with. It's just like a really nice, easy to come by product and has a really great ingredient list. So I definitely recommend trying that one out. We are moving into the chemical sunscreens. These are all three from Supergoop. My first recommendation from them is their Unseen Sunscreen. It's SPF 40. We love that. This one has such a unique texture. It is clear. It looks like a pore filling primer. I recommend this guy a lot because you get your SPF and your primer 2-in-1, smooths your skin. And I love this one so much, guys, because this has blue light protectant in it. We love that. The red algae in here is actually what is the blue light protectant. It's oil free if you're super oily and you hate like a greasy feeling. You do get meadow foam seed in here. I believe that's how it's pronounced. And this increases your skin's hydration level. So you will still be getting hydrated without that oily feeling. Now I'm going to be talking about the Supergoop Play Sunscreen. This is the most similar sunscreen texture to like your typical everyday copper tone sunscreen. This guy has sunflower extract in here, which helps to protect your skin from like external environmental factors. There is a teeny bit of rosemary oil all the way at the bottom of the ingredient list, but there's so little in here that it should be fine. It's a face and body sunscreen. Definitely apply to your ears, your neck, your chest, your hands, and your arms as well. Supergoop does make this in a spray that's like a continuous mist. Their Play like lotion or the spray, it's gonna be the best water resistant sunscreen in my opinion. Last one, the Supergoop Defense Refresh Spray. This one's the little mini. They have a full size. I have a couple of the minis just laying around. I usually keep one of these like in my bag or in my car to reapply just when I'm out during the day or at work or whatever. I set my makeup with this because I know it's like can be annoying that you have to reapply your sunscreen. I get it. So this makes my life so much easier because you literally just spray it out. I also recommend this to people who are like, ugh, like I don't want to wear sunscreen. I'm like, okay, but like, what if we just did this little mist and it takes 2 seconds and you can just spray it all over your face and you're done. You can use this just as your sunscreen during the day and to reapply. It's very lightweight. There is a little bit of peppermint oil and rosemary. They're the very last 2 ingredients. So those are my 5 recommendations, I guess 6 if you count the drugstore recommendation. Hope that was helpful and not like spitting too much information at you all at once. The last thing I want to talk about is how to remove your SPF. If you are not using an oil cleanse to emulsify your sunscreen, it's not going to come off. It's just going to sit on your skin and it's going to build up. Ew. So if you're just going in with like a gel cleanser, at the end of the day, you're not actually removing your SPF. It's just like when people use a makeup wipe to remove their makeup, you're not actually removing all of your makeup and you're leaving residue behind. So you need to go in with an oil cleanse or something like a cleansing balm would be really great. Making sure that we're not using one that has like little bits of plastic in there because those can be very detrimental to the ocean. Brands like Pharmacy, Clinique, their balms do have little teeny bits of plastic in there that are really bad for the earth. And I'm actually going to talk about my favorite oil cleanse. This is Purito, so it's the same brand as the first SPF I talked about. This is their green cleansing oil. I absolutely love it so much. I use this every night. If I don't wear makeup, I just use it to break down my SPF, and if I am wearing makeup, I use it to take off my makeup first and kind of remove everything, and then I follow up with my Youth to the People Superfood Cleanser. You can't just leave an oil cleanse on your face. It's gonna like sit and you're probably gonna break out. And also remember, whenever you do apply your oil cleanser, apply it to your skin dry. So yeah, I just wanted to stress the importance of actually taking your SPF off because I wasn't taking my sunscreen off for so long. So that is all of the sunscreen info I have for you guys. I know it was a lot, kind of threw a lot at you. I hope you guys like the more skincare style videos. Thank you so much. Hit that like, hit that subscribe if you want to. You know I definitely appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next one. Bye! That sip wasn't good. This guy has sunflower,
Squalene.